I made a video a month ago talking about how Tomodachi Life had pretty much become very boring to me after less than a month of playing. And now, I don't even think I've played this game for a month now, and there hasn't been anything added. I think there might have been like a couple small patches, but there's been no content added into the game. And it's only been out for 2 months, so I'm not expecting there to be a whole big expansion pass just yet. But with Pokemon Pokopia getting one, I think it actually might be coming out sooner than we think. So I'll get into what I think will be in an expansion pass, what I think it'll be like, when I think it'll come out. But first, subscribe and check out some of my other Tomodachi Life videos. Like, you're obviously interested in the game if you're watching this video, so go check those out. Anyway, I've been on record saying I think Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is a well-made game, but I just think for the price tag, it's just hard to justify it. I don't regret my purchase of it, just because I did have a good time with it, but $60 for a game that gets very repetitive very quickly, like, I can understand why it's not going to be everyone's game. Now, if you're an artist, I think you can get a lot more value out of this. And I think the issue is a lot of people who are artists don't really put themselves in other people's shoes, and they'll say, well, I'm still having a great time after 2 months because I'm designing all these different things. And that's great for you, but a lot of people just don't have the patience to make these crazy designs or just aren't good artists in general. And that kind of brings the gameplay down for a lot of people. Now, the original game, you didn't need to be a good artist. Like that wasn't a factor in it. And I'm happy that we have this stuff in the game. Like, I think giving people more customization is a great thing. But it kind of feels like they designed this game mostly for artists, and that if you're not one, your experience is just going to be a lot lower. Now, I think if they had sharing of some sort, it would be better. Like I've seen people with crazy designs. I saw someone make Peach's Castle, and I'd love to have something like that on my island to try to customize it, but I just don't have the patience or skill to make that, which is why I think the lack of sharing hurts this game. And yeah, I know why sharing isn't in this game. There's no censorship, but I think Nintendo could have had some sort of sharing, whether it's with friends online, whether it's curated, which I think would have been the obvious choice. But the game gets very repetitive, and things that would make it a little less repetitive, like being able to have an unlimited amount of things that you can find online to add into your world, like, that's just not there. You have to make it yourself. And I've already talked about the interactions being the same. Some of the systems being very shallow even compared to the 3DS version. Like having kids in the game, it's like a cutscene instead of just a few days. The lack of drama, the lack of me and me's, and I've seen a lot of comments about this on other videos, and I agree 100%. Like, yeah, there's arguments between Miis, but I love that there was an update that gave you the choice to make Miis who could be a villain or something. Like, that would make it more interesting, because I really had no motivation to go back to this game. With that being said, Pokemon Pokopia came out in February, and then for the Direct a couple weeks ago, we got the expansion pass. So there's a free update and the expansion pass, and that's only 4 months after the game came out. So I'm not saying that this game is Pokopia or it's the same exact type of game, but that's a very quick turnaround. Like, only 4 months for all of those announcements and new content to be added. Can we get something like that for Tomodachi Life? I don't think it's as simple, because with Pokemon Pokopia, there's the different areas and stuff, and that's not something in Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, at least not yet. I think something they could do is maybe add like more interiors. Like, let's say they added, I don't know, a baseball stadium, and you can customize the interior of the stadium. Or let's say they added a hotel, and you can customize the interior of that. So maybe having something like that, kind of like Animal Crossing, how they had Happy Home Design, which was a separate game, but they also did something like that for New Horizons, where they just gave more choices for creativity. I could definitely see something like that being added. I think there will be free updates. I don't think every single thing is going to be locked behind paid DLC, even though I'm sure that there will be. I'm sure Nintendo's not going to give up an opportunity to have some paid DLC, but I would expect some free things. I'd expect them to maybe add like some other locations, like maybe if they add, I don't know, an aquarium or something, different things in like the same vein as the restaurant, because that's one of the few locations the Miis can actually go to and hang out. Really just like the Ferris wheel and the restaurant. Like, yeah, they hang out in the world, but I'm saying like specific locations. So I think adding stuff like that is, I would be extremely shocked if it wasn't added. And I'm hoping that it's not going to take long. So supposedly this game was in development for 9 years. And that doesn't mean that they were actively developing it for 9 years. It was kind of on like the back burner. So I don't know how much has actually been done for extra content, but I'd assume they have something. So something I see a lot of people say is that we just have to be patient with the game. And on one hand, yeah, I understand that it's been 2 months. We can't expect there to be double the content already. But on the other hand, this was a $60 game. Like, Nintendo said, this game is worth $60. So people have every right to complain if they bought the game and they don't feel that that's enough content. Like, that's a very valid criticism. And if someone wants more content, saying, well, this game didn't release with enough content to justify the price tag, but we just have to be patient. I just don't like that argument a lot. Like, you have that a lot with other companies where they'll release a game that's just a complete buggy mess, but you don't usually have people say, let's just be patient with this game. It doesn't matter that it released as a mess. Like, let's just give them a chance to fix it. And even if they do fix it, like, we can acknowledge that the game got better, but we can still point out that the launch was not good. And Tomodachi Life isn't a mess. Like, it's not like it's a buggy mess or a bad game at launch, but I would definitely say it's lacking content. So to say, yeah, I'm looking forward to new content and I hope we get it sooner than later, I don't think that's being very demanding. I think that's just saying you want to get more of your money's worth, or you want a chance to go back to this game, because you can't just force yourself to like a game. I mean, you could try, but ultimately, if you're not enjoying Tomodachi Life, you're not going to be playing it. Like, you're going to be playing something else. And I've seen some weird arguments where I've seen people say you just have to try to enjoy the game, that you just have to use the content that's there to have a good time. And I don't think that makes a lot of sense, because you can't just say, well, this game has flaws or this game doesn't have enough content, but I'm just going to excuse that anyway. Like, I just don't get that. It's like it's trying to make excuses for the game. And also keep in mind, this is a sequel on the Nintendo Switch of a 3DS game that came out 12 years ago. So to expect them to have more content, I think would be a given. And in a lot of ways, there is a lot more content, but there's also some less content, like less events, and also missing some other things. I also want to say before anyone comments, I didn't try to play this game like 10 hours a day. Like, admittedly, when I first got it, I played for like a couple hours, for like the first couple days, and then I kind of played less, where maybe I played like 20 minutes a day or something. And it just got to a point where I saw everything the game had to offer. I didn't feel motivated to play. And again, as someone who's not an artist, there was only so much I could do with the customization feature. To me, it's kind of like putting a band-aid on the content issue in this game. It's saying, we're not going to put that much content in, but we're going to give you the chance to put a lot of content in. And I like that in some ways, where they're giving you the tools to make what you want. But on the other hand, I don't like that, because there should still be more content in the game that is more accessible to more people and gives the game more to it. It doesn't need to be a super in-depth life simulator, but I'd like for there to be a little more. So I play my Switch 2 like probably 5 days a week. If I had to guess, I try to find time to play on it, even if it's in short bursts. And I really want to go back to Tomodachi Life and have something to do, but I also don't want to go back to Tomodachi Life, because I know that it's just not that interesting to me anymore. But what I mean by that is I want to go back into the game and feel that motivation to keep doing things. So having additional content is really the only way to do it. And it happened with New Horizons. This is literally the same way I felt about New Horizons, where I was addicted to it when it came out, played it for a couple weeks, and then kind of got bored of it, and then I started coming back to it as there was more content added. And Animal Crossing New Horizons has been supported now for 6 years. So when do I think we're actually going to get a content update for Tomodachi Life Living the Dream? It's hard to say. So I kind of thought we were going to get something in the Nintendo Direct, like not like a full expansion pass. I thought we were going to get some sort of content update, but we obviously didn't. I think maybe over the summer. I think probably towards the back half of the summer, like maybe August. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some sort of update, because right now they're focusing on some new games. Like, we have a few games releasing in the span. We have Star Fox coming out this week. We have Rhythm Heaven Groove coming out a little over a week, like 2 weeks from now. We have Splatoon Raiders coming out. So my guess is Nintendo's just really focusing on those for now. And even we have Fire Emblem a little later on. But especially with like the last quarter of the year not really having much, like besides Fire Emblem and Ocarina of Time, it's not really much spaced in between that. And Fire Emblem, I know it's a very popular series, but it's still a JRPG. It's still kind of niche. So the big thing is obviously Ocarina of Time. So having a few smaller things in between there, I think would make a lot of sense. Just having some sort of Tomodachi Life update, whether it's an expansion pass or a free update in August, maybe in September, maybe October, depending on when Ocarina of Time comes out. That would be my prediction for now. Now, it's far from a given. Pokemon Pokopia is not the same thing. Like, it's not developed by Nintendo. So, and there's other things going on there with the Pokemon Company and Game Freak, compared to Tomodachi Life, which is just a full Nintendo IP. And what I mean by that is that, for example, Pokemon Pokopia is a game key card. Nintendo themselves, like outside of Pokemon games, has not done any game key cards themselves. So there's differences there. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the timing was kind of similar. I think this is a game that can be supported for a long time, and I really hope Nintendo gives it the support that it deserves and just makes it a better game, like with New Horizons. I actually talked about this more in another video a couple months ago, if you want to check that out. So something else I want to bring up is that Tomodachi Life on the 3DS didn't get like a big content update like that. And that's a 3DS game from 2014. It was not the same thing. Switch games are updated more frequently. They're more likely to get content or DLC. I don't even think that should really factor into this discussion. So before I end this video, I just want to say a couple things, because people really love to try and twist my words or misinterpret what I say. I like Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I do not hate it. I've had a good time with the game, but I've just lost interest in it, and I have for over a month now. And if you are an artist, if you're saying, well, I have a good time, so therefore the game isn't boring, that's your opinion, and a lot of people don't feel that way. In fact, I'd probably say the vast majority of people have stopped playing Tomodachi Life. And it's a game with so much charm and so much potential that I want it to be the best game it can be. And I've said this about Mario Kart World, and this is the one thing that kind of scares me when it comes to Tomodachi Life. It's been over a year now since Mario Kart World came out, and had the same complaints of just a lack of content, especially for the price. And we've gotten nothing. Like, we've got an update. So there was like a couple things added, I think, like minor things, but we haven't gotten any sort of like big updates or any past or anything. And that's Mario Kart. Like that is one of the biggest gaming franchises. And with Mario Kart 8, I think the original Mario Kart 8 did get DLC within the first year. I could be wrong in that. I think it was around that time. And we've gotten nowhere in a Mario Kart world. And that's what leads me to say that it's far from a given we're going to get more content for Tomodachi Life. But this is all speculation. I've made a bunch of videos, like I said, talking about what they could add, if you want to check those out. But just to go over a couple of them, I think maybe some way to have some social feature, like with friends at least, even though I don't know how likely it is. I think it's a possibility. Maybe having some sort of other island, like maybe going to the city, having new locations, having more dreams, having more dialogue options, having more drama, things like that. So if it's like a core thing with the game, like where it's just extra dreams, like more options for how Mii's behave, I think I truly hope this would be a free update. But I think if you start to add in content, like if there was something like a city that was added that becomes part of your world, that's something I think is more likely to be a paid DLC. But again, all speculation. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And also let me know in the comments, what do you want to see added? Are you still playing Tomodachi Life? If not, when did you stop playing? And let me know what you want to see added. Thanks for watching Game Domain, and I'll see you next time.